Eric Bischoff slams Tony Khan and CM Punk, saying that the AEW president couldn't even manage a clown car in response to the recent turmoil backstage in AEW regarding CM Punk, AEW Collision, and talent being banned from either show. Details on that, plus Santana and Ortiz, could they be set to make their return to AEW television sooner rather than later? Tony Khan says that Sting is on the best run of his legendary career. Also an update on Britt Baker and Adam Cole's long travel day for this past weekend's Collision tapings. Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestling News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, there are plenty of news stories to get into in the world of All Elite Wrestling. Let's start off talking about Eric Bischoff slamming both the AEW president Tony Khan and CM Punk on the week of AEW All In, particularly when it comes to the backstage controversies surrounding the current real AEW World Champion. Eric Bischoff, on the latest episode of his podcast, Strictly Business with Eric Bischoff, had some criticism of AEW and Tony Khan. The criticism surrounds how CM Punk's controversies are dealt with publicly and not internally. The former WCW president also believes that there is a lack of leadership and professionalism within the company, a fault that Bischoff has expressed in the past as well. Quote, the lack of leadership, the lack of professionalism is manifested by somebody who is talking to all these outside news sites, said Bischoff. This is internal business. This should be dealt with internally, and it's not. There are too many people talking outside of the office. This is, in my opinion, proprietary, confidential information that shouldn't be shared with anybody. Bischoff feels that if there aren't clauses in the agreements that talent sign which outline what talent can and can't say about AEW's business to the public, then there should be one added in the future. While speaking more about AEW's situation, Eric Bischoff admitted that the same internal strife happened to him. He empathized with Tony Khan to a point, but feels that the AEW president has played a part in the backstage drama, calling AEW, quote, a giant clown car that Khan can't manage. Easy for me to say. Quote, it literally is the inmates running the asylum at this point, and the entire company looks like a giant clown car filled with juvenile, unprofessional, self-absorbed children, said Bischoff. Not all of them, obviously. I don't want to cast such a broad net, but I've never seen anything like this before. Could you imagine if Tony Khan would have been able to buy WWE? You can't manage a clown car at this point. Bischoff also called it self-destructing behavior and that it is ruining the company. He feels that instead of fighting amongst themselves, the talent should all be focusing on the All-In pay-per-view and be happy with how good ticket sales are for the Wembley Stadium event. With CM Punk reportedly blocking other talents working on Collision, his ongoing beef with Hangman Adam Page and Cash Wheeler's arrest, the focus seems to be shifting from the incredible achievement of selling over 80,000 tickets for All In to yet more backstage drama in AEW. But as I mentioned, Eric Bischoff has once again hit out AEW president Tony Khan, this time about his handling of the CM Punk situation. On a recent edition of his Strictly Business podcast with Eric Bischoff, the Hall of Famer credited AEW for not depending on one star, but came down heavily on Punk. He said, quote, WWE is comprised and is represented by all of these superstars, but it's the brand that people are buying into, not any one person, argued Bischoff. And again, that's one of the reasons why I am supportive and will continue to be supportive of WWE for not relying on any one piece of talent. I no longer think that's the way to do business. He criticized Punk once again, calling him overrated, and feels that Khan hasn't managed the former AEW World Champion well. He said, quote, CM Punk is a draw. I don't like him. I think he's unprofessional. I think he's highly overrated, and I don't think he's worth nearly the amount of money or the compromises that Tony Khan is making along the way. I think that Tony will realize that at some point in time. I said this before, as soon as CM Punk came back, this is making a bad situation worse. You're bringing a cancer into your company and you're not managing it, said Bischoff. Rather than putting CM Punk in a box and reminding him that he's talent, he's not management, they gave him the keys to the kingdom. Eric Bischoff said that he was in a similar situation when he was in charge of WCW and had to file a lawsuit against Ric Flair. Bischoff filed a lawsuit against the 16-time world champion after he didn't appear for an episode of Thunder. Bischoff encouraged Tony Khan to be a better leader and stated that the situation will worsen before it gets better. Quote, it's going to get worse before it gets better. At some point, Tony is going to have to learn how to be a leader. He's going to have to take it on the chin, just like I did with Ric Flair, said Bischoff. When I decided to sue Ric Flair because we couldn't couldn't work our shit out and he was going public with his side of the story, I said, I can't play anymore. I have to take a position, and it was a painful one to take. It still is. Ric Flair still resents me to this day for what I did. He hates me when I even talk about it. But I was forced to do something I didn't want to do, and something I knew was going to hurt financially because Rick had such an amazingly loyal fan base, and deservedly so. He feels the issues surrounding Punk and AEW will aggravate because there's no risk or punishment for Punk when he talks openly and criticizes fellow AEW stars. Bischoff feels that the ultimate goal for every pro wrestler should be to build the promotion's brand, even if it means dealing with the people that they don't like. Quote, that's their responsibility, to help build the brand. That's what they're getting paid for. In some cases, millions of dollars more than they're actually worth on the open market. But Tony's willing to take that chance and to fund whatever his vision is. Their responsibility is to contribute in building the brand, even if it means putting up a situation that they really don't like, argued Bischoff. Everybody that I know that has a job has to put up with situations every single day and work with people every single day and are assigned to do things they absolutely detest every single day. But that's what you're getting paid for. The WWE Hall of Famer said that he worked with many people that he hasn't liked, and that peers only require respect and trust to make it work. He thinks that every wrestler should focus on moving the brand forward and look past personal agendas and even work with those that they don't see eye to eye with. As I mentioned, over the last few weeks there have been a number of issues that have surfaced regarding Punk and AEW, with rumoured tense encounters between Punk and Jack Perry as well as Ryan Nemeth. Punk has also reportedly offered to have discussions with the Elite to bury the hatchet, but AEW management have scuppered those plans. So what are your thoughts on Bischoff's comments about AEW, about Tony Khan, about CM Punk? At this point, is it just par for the course, or with some of the stuff that Bischoff is saying, are they legitimate reasons to be critical of AEW? Let me know your thoughts about that in the comment section below. Now, Santana and Ortiz, they could be set for a return to AEW television very, very soon. According to Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful Select, a wrestler who has been out for over a year is ready to return to the ring. Santana, who sustained a torn ACL in the 2022 Blood and Guts match, has been out of action ever since. After a long social media absence, Santana recently returned and posted vignettes, but has yet to return to the ring. Fightful have confirmed that Santana is ready for an in-ring return. Now, for those wondering and asking, Fightful are saying that they're told that as of him being cleared for his return, he and Ortiz were still not on good terms. However, that had been the case for quite a while before the injury, and it's not impossible that the two can work together again following his return. Speaking of Ortiz, there's plenty adding to the traction that could mean he's planned for a spot on the Wembley AEW All-In card. Ortiz was scheduled for a Limitless Wrestling show next weekend, but was pulled from the event. In following up, Fightful were told it was due to an AEW related obligation. There are several wrestlers not booked for the card that are being sent to the UK, but they've also heard plenty that aren't as well. So again, we'll have to wait and see, but it does look like Santana, he's ready to return, and Ortiz could be set and booked for something AEW related this coming weekend. Now, this is a really interesting comment that Tony Khan has said about Sting, saying he's on one of the greatest runs of his career. WWE Hall of Famer Sting has returned to the ring in AEW after he joined the company in December of 2020. Currently, Sting is still undefeated in the company and is set to team up with Darby Allin against AR Fox and Swerve Strickland in a coffin match at AEW All-In at Wembley Stadium this weekend. Speaking on the Chase Maccabi show, Tony Khan praised Sting's success in AEW, claiming that his current run is the greatest of his career. He said, quote, "When you talk about some of the biggest names in pro wrestling, for me, it starts and ends with Sting. He's one of the all-time legends. He's one of my all-time favorites. He's still a huge part of AEW. One of the greatest things we've accomplished is bringing Sting out of retirement. He is still wrestling to this day. He is undefeated in AEW, in fact, and on the greatest run of his career right now here in AEW. Now, Sting has previously mentioned having plans for a potential retirement match later this year, with his contract set to be coming up in December. What are your thoughts on what Tony Khan said there? Is Sting truly on the greatest run of his career, or is this just hyperbole from a promoter looking to get people to buy tickets and sell pay-per-views? Let me know your thoughts about that. Finally, a bit of an update when it comes to Britt Baker and Adam Cole and a long travel day they had this weekend. There was an insane travel night for Dr. Britt Baker DMD, according to Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful Select. Lexington's AEW Collision tapings went 5 hours this weekend, as the company had to film Rampage and Ring of Honor as well, since next week's Collision films on Wednesday. The evening ended up being main evented by Hikaru Shida and Dr. Britt Baker DMD versus Saraya and Toni Storm. However, Baker was actually in Alabama when the show started. Baker was at the Culture City Culture Ball in Birmingham, Alabama, where Adam Cole was given the Human Highlight Award Person of the Year. Shortly after, Baker and Cole flew private to Lexington, Kentucky, where they arrived minutes before Baker walked out for the Rampage main event. Cole also appeared in front of the crowd to send them home happy. So again, pretty crazy travel day for the couple this past weekend. But there you go, guys. It's latest AEW news for you. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right hand corner. As always, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon.
Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.